Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Ten reasons why personal branding is a requirement, not an option in today's socially connected world. Now, obviously, if you're a coach, consultant, or small business owner, you would have seen, heard, or have experienced some sort of personal branding happening. All the coaches that you are following, all the influencers that you're following, all the prominent business owners, your Elon Musks, your Patrick Bet-Davis, your Prosper Taravingas, your Pat Moores, anybody else that you've been following lately, that is a personal brand. And if you're wondering why that is important right about now, I just want to tell you a simple statistic that will probably change the rest of your life. 80 million names are Googled every single day. Now, let me tell you something. Your reputation, who you are, your consulting, your training, your information, your expertise should now extend to the online world, and you should be present 24/7. And if you don't exist online, then you're losing on opportunities and leaving money on the table. Have you ever been cold calling maybe potential clients and having them hang up in your face, or maybe you send out hundreds of emails without even getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out, or maybe you're wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend, or spending every hour trying to connect with people on social media and nobody even responds back to you just simply because they don't know who you are and they haven't heard of your name or what it is that you are doing. That is because maybe you haven't created a personal brand, because I can understand as a coach, consultant, or small, medium business, you might think, oh, all I just need to do is have good products, have, some sort of presence online, and I know right now you might be thinking, why is nobody buying anything from me? Because sometimes it might feel like no one wants to buy what you're selling. And when you rely on your business to pay rent and put food on the table, it can definitely put an enormous strain on your emotions and on your confidence. And you're terrified of having to give up on your dreams just simply because you are not making any sales, right? So back to that statistic that I mentioned, that 80 million names are Googled every day. Not only are people Googling maybe you or what it is that you're providing, or if you reach out to them, look you up online, even if you're looking for some sort of connection with a B2B company, 75% of maybe HR departments are actually required to search for candidates before they hire them online. So whatever you've posted online, whatever you've put out there, people are going to look you up. So that also means our prospects will look us up if they are somewhat interested in what it is that we are doing. This is how people are making decisions based on what they see or what social proof you have about yourself online. And that's why it's super, super important for you to make sure that you are crafting your personal brand along the way. Okay, this is because our prospects are making decisions about you just simply based on your presence or lack thereof within the social media, or other environments that they have access to. So this means it doesn't matter. Maybe you've got a really big presence on LinkedIn or a really big presence on social media. If your prospect is probably maybe on Instagram or is big on Google, and if they look you up there and you're not there, simply stated you do not exist in their world. Okay, so the decisions that people then use to hire us or to consult with us are simply based on our presence and lack thereof within social media and other online environments. And you need to be found in the right places. You need, to have the right content, and you need to be supported or endorsed by the right people. Okay, so whoever our prospects are looking up to, either you have to be in those circles or you have to have some sort of endorsement that goes along, the what they are already having in them. So basically, you need to be part of the narrative. You need to be part of their conversations, because having an online reputation is now critical, and it's very important in order to establish your new relationships and creating perpetual business. And I really want you to have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. So, if people know you, they like you and trust you, they'll definitely triple, stumble, and fall in order to buy from you and refer to you, to their loved ones. Never has it been more important to actually understand the power of having and maintaining and even developing a strong online brand. I want to ask you right now, do you currently have a place where I can find all about you, your story, who you are, and why people should actually care to do business with you? Just have a think about that. If you look at your About Us page, does it really tell the story of maybe when you started and why people should actually find you to be the person that can solve their problem? Because if that's not available, you might be actually missing out on, stuff that can be indexed about you that people can Google you online. Because I can understand, as a coach, consultant, or entrepreneur, marketing is just one aspect of running a successful business. We're not out here to be taking photos and selfies, in order for us to be seen or to be seen as active on social media, platforms, and then if you're, already running a business, hiring and managing new staff, and you're balancing books and driving growth and a whole lot more, and it all feels like it's a constant balancing act where you're being pulled in multiple different directions all at once. And at the end of the day, your real goal is just to help your clients. You want to spend as much time as possible maybe changing people's lives and solving people's problems, and you don't want to waste countless hours each week trying to navigate the complex world of personal branding. And you certainly don't want to spend yet another minute on the phone having to beg people to hire your services. Unfortunately, you don't have to. Right? I don't. And it doesn't. And I still have a long list of clients who want to work with me. And it's not because I'm a genius. It's because I've mastered how to craft a reputable personal brand. Okay? And never, like I said, has it been more important to understand the power of having and maintaining and actually developing a strong personal brand. Who do people say you are? Right? So once you have a personal brand, you no longer have to repeat yourself. You no longer have to, beg people to hire you or work with you just simply because whatever information they might want, whatever social proof or authority they might be seeking in order to engage with you is already found for them at their own convenience, without you having to point them to the direction of where you want them to look. And never has a simple Google search been able to tell us more about a person, who they are, what they do, and why they matter. Right? Because nobody has time to figure all this stuff out. But if they just Google and they find whatever information is relevant to them, then they can make an informed decision whether to work with you or not. You see, back in the past, our reputations revolved around what people see and hear about us face to face. But now we have to realize that you have to have a digital presence. Do you have a podcast that people can just listen to before they have a conversation with you? That's the reason why every single day I sit here and I attempt to answer so many questions. Why I do this? Because once I see something on LinkedIn and people are asking questions about that, I come in and create a podcast around that. And as soon as I create the podcast, obviously I send it to my podcast network and I send it to my email list, but I actually use that episode to answer questions. Now, can you imagine what that will do? When people hear about me for the first time, yes, obviously they might just listen to that episode, but we've got over 200 episodes that are out there, and somebody might just say, maybe that was just a fluke, let me listen to another one. Before they know it, they're hooked, and I've already created within their brain something that didn't exist, and now I've positioned myself as a person who can help them start, scale, and grow a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And I no longer have to repeat myself all the time when somebody has maybe a similar question, because as business owners or as coaches, consultants, and small business owners, we all go through the same similar problems. They might just be unique based on who we are and our investment in the business and mindset, but it's usually the same problems. And if I take the time to answer them in a podcast, I'm establishing my personal brand and becoming the go-to person that provides value, because I viscerally believe that we get paid in direct proportion to the value that we bring to the marketplace. Okay, so it's no longer about me waiting for people to sing praises about me. I have the content, I have done the work, and so should you. Okay, so those that are forward thinking, they actually realize that you have to position yourself as a brand and create a brand that will get you noticed. And you simply have to stand out from the herd. If you look at all the brands that we follow, Louis Vuitton, Mercedes-Benz, Rolls-Royce, all of those are name brands that have created a personal brand that has grown into a really big company. If you look at all the, famous companies that we are following right now, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Meta, or whatever you call it these days, all of those businesses have one personal brand that is at the top of that business, and it makes it easy for people to know, like, and trust that person, and obviously then trust whatever products that are coming out. When Steve Jobs was alive, people would camp outside an Apple shop for the next product. They didn't even know what it looked like, but because they trusted the brand that sold that to them, that made a whole world of difference. So you see now why personal branding is actually important, especially if you're a one-man band. Even if you've got a team behind you, people need to know who they're dealing with. I've seen, a few people sort of catching on to this whole personal brand movement on LinkedIn, and they're asking, hey, should I be posting my own selfie? This whole selfie marketing. Of course, people are genetically modified to recognizing faces. Okay, even as kids, when we are born, the first thing we see is the face of either our parent or the doctor or nurse that delivers us. Like, that is the one thing that we see first, and then from there we start learning to recognize, is this friend or foe? Is this a person that likes me, or is this a person that's gonna hurt me? And that's how we then make sense of the world around us. All right, so everyone has a personal brand, and it's in your best interest to make sure that you're actually crafting it instead of people having to craft it for you. Right? Celebrities have it. Kim Kardashian has a personal brand. All she just has to do is show up, even if she's naked or in a sex tape or whichever form. People will eat that content. Why? Because she's produced before. That's the operative. You might hate her, you might like her. There's people like Elon Musk that are always showing up. The more content you produce, the more reasons you have for people to engage with you. All right, that's the operative right there. If people then stumble on your properties or on your whatever you've been creating, if there's not 2 or 3 or 4 more episodes for them to choose from, then they're gonna go somewhere else. That's why shows like Seinfeld have become classics. You know why? It took them 9 years to showing up every single day on people's TVs. People like Oprah, she did, I think, almost 8 seasons of her show, and she became people's best friends because she was consistent. She would show up and be like people's friends. And now, whenever she starts anything, she's got the Oprah Winfrey Network. She gave people cars, all of that stuff. People remember her for the things that she has done. Celebrities have it. Businesses have it. Food products have it. Shoes have it. Dogs have a personal brand. And I'm not talking about maybe the latest celebrity scandal, like maybe if you've been watching Johnny Depp going through court or whatever it is, or maybe Will Smith smacking what's that other guy, Chris Rock. I'm talking about a professional brand. Something that people can resonate to. No matter what it is that you've done, at least there's a track record of who you've been and what it is that you've done and what you can do for people that are going to be following you. So like I said, celebrities have it, businesses have it, food products, shoes, cats, dogs. I'm talking about that professional brand. Okay, so let's have a think of somebody that might come into mind. Think Donald Trump. Think Oprah. Think Google, think Nike, all right? Think Apple. When you think of these brands, certain things come to mind, okay? This is what you're after with your own brand. You want name recognition, all right? Back in the time, people used to work so hard so that they can become a household name. That is now very, very important, especially on the internet. People have to know you. People have to like you, and people have to trust you. So for those that like definitions, let me just put it like this. Personal branding is the relationships an individual or company forms with its target market, both online and offline. And how others feel about your personal brand determines whether they or not they want to have business relationships with you. Now, there is a revolution that's happening, especially on LinkedIn, where even people that are employed within businesses are actually creating their own professional personal brand. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be owning your own business in order for you to create your own personal brand. You literally can be number 12 at whatever SaaS company you're working, or some management consultant, or you're a coach within, certain franchise. You just need to have a brand that people can recognize in order for them to actually do business with you. All right. And, like I say this with utmost love and respect, personal branding has actually become a necessity. No longer is it solely a marketing concept that you hear on a podcast like this, but it's actually, or maybe it's restricted to maybe managing and promotion of products. Today, brand development is also an art of self-promotion, right? People have to proactively distinguish themselves from their competition, because you're just going to be yet another Me Too person out there. You see, my profession as a digital consultant or digital marketing consultant, anyone with a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt can call themselves a digital marketer. There's nothing that differentiates a lot of social media consultants out there, or people that do websites, or people that do SEO. But the brand and the work and the body of work that you've created out there is what then people would, choose you over the competition, just simply based on the fact that you have been there longer than the next person. Okay, so your personal brand is all about you. Okay, your personal brand is just simply about who you are and how you are perceived within your target market. Because when you've identified your target market and you've clarified your message, you now have to determine what media you're going to be reaching out those people to. Okay, so I choose podcasts because I'm really good at talking. Some people might choose a blog because it's easy when they write. And some people might choose social media because obviously, they're photogenic, okay? So you choose that, media that you want to be known for, and then make sure you're consistent up until people actually get to know, like, and trust who you are. Okay, so everything about you, from the way you present your online business, the look, your message, the consistency, and whatever value that you're bringing, it all speaks about your business. Are you putting out videos out there? Are you doing a podcast? Is it consistent? Does it carry any weight? Do people listen up until 20 minutes in and you haven't said anything about the topic you're talking about? And just simply because you've already just given so much value, before it's even started. I'm actually talking about this episode. We are at 20 minutes and I don't think I've said much about personal branding, but hey, bear with me. I appreciate you for tuning in. So in marketing, personal branding is all about working on your own personal style, your positioning, being unique, and how you are creating value to the marketplace. I completely always repeat this. We get paid in direct proportion to the value that we bring to the marketplace. You could be valuable to your mother, you could be valuable to your sister, you could be valuable to your kids, but if you're not helping me make a difference or see the world in a different way, there's no way anybody will be tuning to this podcast. There's no way people will be watching your videos. Okay, so whatever you're going to be doing out there, build your reputation based on what you're bringing to the marketplace. And if you're an expert in your field, you can definitely develop trust and relationships with your target market just simply because you're making their lives better. Okay, that's what people are looking for out there. They're looking for people who would help them see the world in a different light so that they too can do and have a happier existence. And if that's what you're bringing to the table, you, my friend, would have to work hard in order for you to reach out to those people. And when they do know you, guess what? They're not going to change the dial. They will want more from you. And that's when you now formulate your own personal brand. What are you known for? Who do people say you are? So whether it's a personal brand, that of a product or a service, the value of the brand is in the promise that it makes. What are you saying you are going to help people achieve? Because a brand can help a client maybe recall positive or negative experiences or whatever emotions which influence how people behave towards you. What is it that you have said you're going to do and then you reneged or did not do that people now associate that with? Because at the end of the day, we all know that if somebody is pissed off, they would tell 10 people, but if somebody's happy, they could just tell one person. So you have to work twice as hard to get half of the, accolades and praises that other people are getting out there in the marketplace. So if you're an individual, this actually means that it's imperative for you to create your own personal brand that will deliver on the expectations of your target market. And if you don't control any of your personal brand on your social media or on anything that you're doing, then I'll tell you something, somebody else is. There's already communities, there's already a dark web out there, there's already screenshots of whatever you've said or wherever you've been that people are actually taking and moving across social media and talking about you. So you need to be controlling the narrative. And it is time for you to actually start taking and thinking about your own personal brand in order for you to start generating hundreds of qualified and high-ticket leads like clockwork, so that you never have to rely on maybe cold calling or emailing to beg clients to hire you. I'll tell you something there. I heard this statement from somebody, I can't quite remember who it was. They say that there are no salespeople in the emergency room. If somebody has got a broken bone and it's sticking through, their skin, there's no way a doctor would come and start selling them onto a plaster or pins or some sort of measure to fix that broken bone. The client is just going to be willing and able to just do just about anything else. So your authority, your trust should be equated to an emergency room where people come in. All right. I'm not saying it has to be filled with blood and gore or whatever it is, but just think of an emergency room. Nobody sells you on anything. If you've got a a cut, like a thumping headache, you're not going to question what you're given by the pharmacist or the doctor. You're just going to take whatever they give you. That's the power of a personal brand, So branding you has never been more important in today's online marketplace, all right? If we could just look at a few facts, you might be thinking, oh, I don't need to be doing this. My business is already out there. People know me. I get referrals. Let me tell you, I had to be the bearer of bad news. Some people out there are just sitting and waiting and hoping and thinking that people remember them. But it doesn't work like that. Personal branding is huge, and it's an emerging issue for anyone who intends to do business either online or offline, and at the end of the day, human beings buy from other human beings, all right? So if you earn trust, it becomes your badge of honor, because earning trust is imperative, in business and in life. One of the best and easiest ways for you to earn trust is to connect human to human, mano a mano, person to person, eye to eye, voice to voice. The more you can help your clients or your prospects, your investors or your employees feel comfortable representing themselves or to you, or you seeing other people online, you get to know, like, and trust them. All right. And it's important that you are able to, portray this personal brand, not in a robotic way or outsourcing it to other people, or using corporate speak or jargon just to overbear what other people are saying. You really need to be creating relationships with those that you're going to be getting money off of. And at the end of the day, once your personal brand is, synonymous to whatever promise that you're making, people will definitely be recommending you to a whole lot more other people. And one other thing that happens once you are a personal brand, let me tell you something. You become the media. You are also seen in the media. All right, because right about now, social media or whatever platforms that we have, it actually levels the playing field for brands. You can be, in the same voice or in the same communication as Elon Musk or whoever you respect out there, because every human being and brand now has the opportunity to be the media. As long as you've got a voice, as long as you've got value, you literally can command your own little corner within the internet and create for and relate to those you're going to be demanding money from. Okay, so at the end of the day, if you're bringing value to the table, people will definitely seek you out. And even media will then amplify your message if you have chosen to actually craft your own personal brand. Because at the end of the day, they're always seeking for information. They're always seeking for content. And if you can be the one, that brings out that personal brand, then guess what? You become the voice that they can, seek out for media appearances. So tell me something. How important do you believe personal branding is? Or have you invested in your own personal brand? Okay. Or if you've got employees or a team, do you ask them to actually show up and help you pass on the message and your brand promise, just so that people get to know, like, and trust you? Okay. Or do you help them create and rock their own personal brands within your own business? I really want to know, because some people think most of these things are not important, but I viscerally believe that if you create a personal brand, that people can relate to, and that people can actually, come back to, you basically become one of the most sought after digital marketers out there, or consultants out there, or coaches out there. So if you are pushing your personal brand, your consulting, your training, your information, your expertise would definitely have a home to sit on, and from that home people can amplify your message. Now the bottom line is, human beings speak to, communicate with, and buy from other human beings. Of course, a brand is not a human. A logo is not a human. However, we can help make brands more human by empowering and bringing it to the front of other human beings. You are meant to be connecting with other humans on social media, and only a verified and positioned and magnified personal brand will definitely cut through the noise. And if you can't do it yourself, find somebody within your business that can definitely become a brand advocate in order for you to connect with and relate to your audience. And once you've identified your target market, you clarified your message, there's nothing that can stop you from duplicating yourself out there and putting word out there on who you are. So like I said, personal branding is a huge and emerging issue for anyone who intends to do business online or offline. I can't wait to congratulate you when you start succeeding with your personal branding out there. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au